Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Foundry by Forge College. So if you are a Web3 developer, you absolutely know the pain. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That universal, hair-pulling frustration of dropped transactions, those completely cryptic reverts, and just broken ERC 4337 code. You write the code, you hit send, and literally nothing. Just this endless void of bundler rejections that honestly makes you want to throw your laptop straight out the nearest window. Well, in today's explainer, Debugging Account Abstraction Flows, we're going to fix that. ERC 4337 introduces these amazing smart accounts that can pay their own gas and run complex logic, but man, they are notoriously picky about what they accept. We're taking the theoretical stuff and making it super practical today.
Okay, real quick, here's our engineering schematic for today. We've got 1. The smart wallet pipeline. 2. Setting up the lab. 3. Fixing signature mismatches. 4. Solving stale nonce errors. 5. Building the debug report. And 6. Wrapping up.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the Smart Wallet Pipeline, Understanding the Assembly Line.
So in our previous explainer, integrating account abstraction into wallet flows, we successfully wired up the happy path. But look, as any engineer knows, the happy path is really just the beginning, right? To debug this stuff effectively, you have to picture your account abstraction setup as this mechanical, three-step industrial assembly line. It's like a user operation is this fragile little package moving through really rigorous quality control. Step 1 is client building. This is where we construct the call data, set gas limits, slap a signature on it. Step 2 is bundler validation. This is your first checkpoint. Basically, think of the bundler like a bouncer at an exclusive club, just checking your ID to make sure everything looks structurally okay. Finally, you have entry point execution. This is the ultimate authority. It's the club manager actually inside giving that final stamp of approval by verifying the exact signature and nonce before anything executes. If your package fails at any of these checkpoints, boom, it gets violently thrown off the conveyor belt. Our job today is to figure out exactly which inspector threw it out and why.
Moving on to Section 2, Setting up the Lab, Equipping your Workbench.
Now, you wouldn't test a volatile rocket engine in the middle of a crowded city, right? So you definitely shouldn't be debugging smart contracts directly on mainnet. This cleanroom approach is a huge principle we emphasize across all our Forge College programs. We need isolated, totally deterministic conditions. So here is your minimalist parts list. Start by spinning up a local node, Hardhat, Anvil, whatever you prefer. This is just a fake blockchain running locally on your laptop where the money is completely made up, so zero risk for you. Next, deploy a simple entry point shim and use a test smart wallet contract. Then write a dedicated JavaScript script whose only job is to deliberately break things and set up a markdown file to record the damage. This setup guarantees that we isolate the failing checks without burning any real ether. All right, lab is set. Let's invite our first bug in for inspection.
Section 3, Fixing Signature Mismatches, the Counterfeit Key.
In the ERC 4337 world, a signature verification failure is literally a counterfeit key in the system. Everything might look right, the operation is formatted beautifully, but when the entry point actually tries to turn the lock, the whole thing jams. When you build a user operation on the client side, but you accidentally sign it with a private key that doesn't exactly match the smart wallet's designated owner, the entry point or bundler stack is going to spit out this highly explicit error, signature invalid, and it just drops the operation immediately. We've all been there. It usually happens when a sleep-deprived developer leaves some test key hard-coded at like 3 a.m., and then they're sitting there the next day wondering why the live network is rejecting their perfect code. So when we look at a failure scenario, using a wrong signer variable creates a signature that just completely fails verification against the actual owner. The fix here is remarkably simple, but honestly, it is so easy to overlook in a massive codebase. You just have to swap out that wrong client-side signer for the correct one, usually by making sure you're pulling the proper environment variable or the correct wallet instance. Once you do that, the operation securely passes the bundler's quality control and moves right down the line. You really need to treat signature mismatches as a first-class test in your workflow. Whenever there's an early-stage integration failure, I promise you, this is almost always the culprit.
All right, Section 4, Solving Stale Nonce Errors, the Jammed Gear.
Moving further down the assembly line, assuming your signature is perfect this time, we hit our second high-yield failure mode. If the bad signature was a counterfeit key, the stale nonce is the jammed gear that brings your entire machine to a grinding, screeching halt. Think of a nonce like taking a number ticket at a super crowded deli counter. If the counter is currently serving number 45 and you confidently walk up and hand them ticket number 44, a stale nonce, they're going to reject you. You can't just get a second sandwich for free using an old ticket. In blockchain, this is what prevents malicious replay attacks. The client sending the transaction and the smart wallet contract executing it have to be in perfect, synchronized harmony about exactly which ticket number is up next.
And you know, developers break this harmony all the time during rapid prototyping. It is incredibly tempting, purely out of laziness, let's be real, to just hard-code the nonce as 0, or just assume your local client state is perfectly correct. But the moment you submit that second operation, it fails instantly. Bam! To solve this headache, we have to stop assuming. We fix this by explicitly reading the authoritative nonce directly from the contract via an RPC call, before we even begin building the UserOperation payload. You just script your client to fetch a fresh nonce from the blockchain, increment it correctly, and retry. After you do that, it's smooth sailing.
Section 5. Building the debug report, updating the manual.
Look, a good engineer never just kicks a machine until it randomly works and then walks away. If you can't hand appear your documentation and have them seamlessly reproduce your fix, then the bug isn't actually resolved. You've got to create a concise, one-page debug report. It acts as this perfect translation matrix. So, observed symptom, signature invalid, revert, root cause, client signing with the wrong key, fix applied, using the correct signer instance. And it's the exact same breakdown for the stale nonce issue. Documenting your raw logs and your code diffs in this exact format really takes the guesswork out of future debugging. Plus, and trust me on this, your future self will absolutely thank you for writing this report when the exact same bug pops up 3 months from now.
Finally, Section 6, wrapping up, pipeline restored.
We did it. We have successfully debugged the pipeline. What started as these abstract, super frustrating errors, dropped transactions, and cryptic logs has been turned into a highly satisfying, systematic engineering process. We broke the problem down, we set up our safe lab, we isolated the errors, and we applied exact fixes. So remember these takeaways. Always map your errors directly back to the specific part of the ERC4337 stack. Always use a local deterministic environment to reproduce failures so you don't have the noise of a live testnet. Treat signature mismatches and stale nonces as your immediate, first-class suspects the second things break, and absolutely document everything. This systematic approach, that is exactly what separates junior developers who are constantly putting out fires from senior engineers who built robust, scalable systems.
So now that we actually know how to fix the plumbing, here's a question I want to leave you with. Knowing exactly where a user operation can fail, how do these precise debugging skills impact the overall threat model and high-level design of your smart wallets? Keep that thought in your head, because we are going to be tackling exactly that in our next explainer, Framing Smart Wallets Conceptually. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Don't forget to visit forge.college to explore more deep dive Web3 engineering topics, join our amazing community, and continue building the future of the decentralized web. See you next time.